The difference between a DSLR camera and a mirrorless camera really comes down to how light travels inside the camera body and how you preview your shot before pressing the shutter. Both types of cameras can deliver outstanding professional quality images, but they achieve that through very different internal designs. This affects everything from the camera's size and weight to its speed, autofocus performance, battery life, and even the overall lens ecosystem available to photographers. A traditional DSLR, or digital single-lens reflex camera, uses a physical mirror inside the body. When light enters through the lens, it hits this mirror, which reflects the image upward into an optical viewfinder using a prism system. So, when you look through the viewfinder on a DSLR, you're seeing a real-time optical reflection of the actual scene, not a digital screen. The moment you press the shutter button, the mirror flips up out of the way, the shutter opens, and the light reaches the sensor to capture the image. That mirror mechanism is what defines a DSLR. It makes these cameras larger, heavier, and mechanically more complex, but it also gives them a very direct, real-time feel with zero electronic delay in the viewfinder. Many photographers, especially those shooting fast action, sports, or wildlife, still love this immediate and natural viewing experience. In contrast, a mirrorless camera completely removes that mirror and prism system. Light travels straight from the lens directly onto the image sensor at all times. The camera then processes this feed and shows it on the rear LCD screen or through an electronic viewfinder, which is essentially a small, high-resolution screen inside the eyepiece. Because there's no bulky mirror box or prism assembly, mirrorless cameras can be made significantly smaller and lighter. This simpler design also allows manufacturers to build in faster burst shooting rates, more advanced autofocus systems, and stronger video capabilities in many modern models. One of the biggest differences between the two systems is how autofocus works. DSLRs traditionally rely on a dedicated phase detection autofocus sensor located inside the body, separate from the main imaging sensor. This setup is very fast and accurate when using the optical viewfinder, especially in good lighting conditions, which is why DSLRs have long been favored for action and sports photography. However, when you switch to live view on the LCD, many DSLRs shift to contrast-based autofocus on the main sensor, which can feel slower and less smooth. Mirrorless cameras, on the other hand, use on-sensor autofocus systems. The autofocus points sit directly on the imaging sensor itself, often combining both phase detection and contrast detection. This allows mirrorless cameras to track subjects across nearly the entire frame, rather than being limited to a smaller central area, like many older DSLRs. Thanks to this technology, modern mirrorless cameras often outperform DSLRs when it comes to eye-tracking autofocus, following moving subjects, and delivering smooth performance in video. It's one of the main reasons mirrorless has become the dominant technology in recent years. Another major advantage is what you actually see before you take the photo. With a DSLR's optical viewfinder, you're looking at the real light coming through the lens, so there's no digital interpretation. That feels very pure, but you also don't see the final exposure, white balance, or depth of field until after you capture the image. You have to rely on your settings and the camera's light meter. With the mirrorless camera's electronic viewfinder, you get a real-time digital preview that shows exactly how your image will look, including exposure, color, and depth of field. This "what you see is what you get" experience makes it much easier for beginners to learn photography and helps professionals fine-tune their settings quickly in changing light. Size and weight differences are also very noticeable. DSLRs tend to be bulkier because of the mirror mechanism and the housing for the prism. Mirrorless cameras can be much more compact and comfortable to carry around for long periods. This design also influences the lenses. Mirrorless systems use shorter flange distances between the lens mount and the sensor, which allows for more modern, sharper, and often lighter lens designs that are better optimized for digital sensors. DSLR lenses are still excellent and widely available, especially on the used market, but the older mount designs can sometimes limit optical possibilities. Battery life is one area where DSLRs often maintain an advantage. Since the optical viewfinder doesn't use any power, you can typically shoot more photos on a single charge compared to mirrorless cameras, which constantly power the sensor and electronic display. That said, mirrorless cameras have improved a lot in recent years, though they still generally need more frequent battery changes, especially when shooting video or using the viewfinder heavily. When it comes to video, mirrorless cameras are clearly ahead. Because the sensor is always active, they can deliver advanced features like real-time subject tracking autofocus, high-resolution 4K or even 8K recording, better image stabilization, and faster sensor readout speeds. DSLRs are capable of shooting video, but their autofocus during video is usually less reliable, and the overall feature set is more limited compared to today's mirrorless systems. In terms of durability and shooting feel, DSLRs are often seen as more rugged and mechanical, with many photographers enjoying the tactile feedback of the mirror slap and the solid build that comes from decades of development. Mirrorless cameras feel more modern and electronically integrated, but they rely more heavily on batteries and digital systems rather than pure mechanical operation. At the end of the day, neither system is universally better. They simply represent different generations of camera technology. DSLRs offer a more traditional optical mechanical approach that is still highly capable and often more affordable on the used market. Mirrorless cameras represent the future of photography with superior autofocus, lighter bodies, stronger video performance, and more advanced real-time feedback. Most manufacturers have now shifted their main development efforts toward mirrorless systems, which means the newest innovations are happening there. DSLRs remain a powerful and beloved option, but mirrorless is clearly where the industry is headed. Whether you choose one or the other ultimately depends on your personal shooting style, priorities, and what feels best in your hands. Both can create incredible images when paired with skill and creativity.